All right, guys. So I have been out of town since Tuesday of last week. Today is Monday. Got back at like 1 a.m. last night. We were at the Bassmaster Classic. Going to be kind of a blog type. I've already done it, but I'm going to tell you about it and kind of, what I did this week. Did a bit of reading and did a ton of work. We did a very local mission trip where we went to the Bassmaster Classic and we shared a small lure. I'll put a picture of it. I don't have one on me because we gave so many of them away. Basically, we wear a lanyard around our neck with this lure on it that has different colors and some crosses on it. And we just serve as volunteers. And if anybody asks us about it, which is a very low pressure way to share the gospel. So if you're interested, you can approach me and then I can tell you about it. So really cool way for us to share the gospel. We go through the whole gambit of the colors where black stands for your sin, red for the blood of Christ, white for once we're forgiven, and then blue for the coming of the Holy Spirit when you accept Christ, and the peace of the Holy Spirit, and then gold for our treasure that's in heaven. And really cool spiel. We talked to them. We asked them, if they've accepted Christ, if they've ever thought about it, most people did mention, yeah, I'm already a Christian. Most of our interest is gained through that, but we then give them to them and say, hey, this would be a great way for you to share the gospel. So really cool thing that we did this week. Got crazy sunburnt. That's why I'm wearing the hat. Like my face feels like leather. I spent most of the time teaching children how to tie knots, trying to get them interested in fishing. Really cool thing that Bass does. They're a great organization. One of my favorite weeks of the year. We go and we work from 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. Literally, they bring us a lunch and say, here you go. And we just get right back to work. We never stop. We just keep helping and keep doing all these things. Helped a bunch of kids catch catfish. Sorry. Helped a bunch of kids catch catfish. Really cool way to engage with everybody. So, but I have a ton of books that I bought recently. Still kind of the Goodwill that I was going to. They are like piecing things out for me. And so I wanted to do that. And then I wanted to show you this. I've been looking for a good frame. So J.P. Harker, who's the author of Wildcat, Leaping Wolf, Lion Cub, and he's got another book coming out. I don't know the title of it yet. I was trying to think of it, but I don't know it because it's not out yet. But he sent me this map after I reviewed Wildcat. And, I said, hey, I'm a map type of guy. Wish you put a map in here. And so he did. He sent me a map and with a little handwritten note. So I'm going to frame it. I think it's really cool. Great connection that me and him have. We've become kind of online friends, and I really appreciate his input on things and how it just makes the books even more enjoyable that they're good, and we've kind of become friends. So really awesome. J.P. Harker, great guy. If you haven't tried Wildcat, please do. It's on Amazon. So with the update sort of kind of out of the way, I mostly read Sinless Sins this week. I got this. My library sent another library. But really cool thing that I do is I put stickers on my bookmark. So this originally was Libraries Rock. And every sticker I got this week, I just kept adding to my bookmark. And eventually it'll be too big to use as a bookmark and I'll start over. But I'm about halfway done with Sinless Sins. It's really, really good if you haven't got a chance to check it out. It's about a man who goes on his honeymoon to the Tower of Babel, which it's so tall they don't even know how tall it is. Many people have guessed at how tall it is, but all of a sudden she disappears and he is on the search for her, realizes she's probably gone into the tower, and he chases her up the tower. And currently we're at the 3rd level and things have gotten crazy, and man, it's good. Oh my gosh, it's good. So I'm really tired. So if I stutter or if, I'm not looking at the camera or something like that, I'm sorry. Just wanted to get this video out because I know it's been about a week since I've put out a video, and wanted to get with you guys on all that stuff. So, book haul. Yep, I got a bunch of books. Mostly Goodwill. Went to Half Price Books a little bit, and then when I was doing the leap year tag, I went to Thrift Books and I saw this picture of the stand, and they had it for like $2. So I wanted to pick it up. I thought it was a cool cover. I mean, it's been through it, but Thrift Books, first time I've ever used them, and to get free shipping, I had to get some other books. So I got Hyperion, which I've been wanting to read. It was like $1.50 or something like that. And then keep going on my Dune journey. This is book 4 in Dune. This is God, Emperor of Dune. I think this is where Leto really becomes a man worm. And so I don't know what all's going on there yet because I've only read book 2 and I need to reread book 2. But I know Leto is Paul's son. So we'll get into that. Hopefully I didn't spoil it for you. I don't think I did. That didn't even count. Yeah, I don't think I spoiled it for you. So next what we'll do is we'll do the original Goodwill book haul. This is the one that I did. And I keep looking this place up because they have stuff in the back and they're not putting it all out. So I'm trying to see if I can finish, like, I think somebody brought out like so many Warhammer 40K books. So I picked up these 2 recently. Massacre in Marienburg, which is just Warhammer. It's not Warhammer 40K. And then we have Yark and the Pyres of Armageddon, which is a Warhammer 40K hardcover. I mean, I'm picking these things up for like $1.50. And they're nice. You know, I mean, this was originally $28, you know, from Black Library Publications. I mean, I could resell it for more than that. So, that was the Warhammer. Then also from that Goodwill trip, I got The Underground Railroad by Colson Whitehead. I think it's like a, so just read the back cover. It's actually a railroad. It's kind of like a fictional retelling of the Underground Railroad. There's actually an Underground Railroad that they get on. Really excited. Everybody's been kind of, I've seen it a bunch of places, I guess. But it was a good looking one, and I've always been interested about the Underground Railroad. We did a study back in school about Harriet Tubman. And man, I was just so intrigued by like what she did and how she got slaves out. You know, growing up in Florida, we were like the forgotten South, you know, and so moving to Georgia in my high school years, I'd missed most of, you know, all their talk about slavery and Civil War and all that. So it's neat to go back and read it from an outside perspective, kind of, you know, because everywhere in the South, they're like Civil War junkies. And so I'm kind of coming from a different perspective on it and learning more about it because we didn't really learn about it in school. We learned about like Seminole Indian history and stuff like that. And so really trying to get, you know, we did learn about it. I'm not saying we didn't learn about it, but we didn't learn about it like they learned about it here in Georgia. I watched Gone with the Wind, and that's like a whole nother level of Civil War history that I was not aware of. Also got Dadas Fat by Jim Gaffigan. Really makes sense because this dad is fat, who's me, and I think he's hilarious. He talks about food, makes funny jokes, tells tons of dad jokes. So I'm going to read that. It's not very big. And then Forward the Foundation. This is a really good hardcover that I found. I know it's not the first one, but I am excited to get into Asimov. I have iRobot, and I'm going to try to do that this year. Don't know if I'll hit the Foundation this year, but I will definitely get into it. Like Dune, Hyperion, and the Foundation are like the 3 series that I'd love to make like expanded videos on and really get in depth, because that's, I think, where I do really well. I'm good at research, I'm good at bullet points, but trying to make the YouTube channel grow, I don't think that's the stuff that does it. So these are going to be like my favorite projects that I get to really dig into and have a lot of fun with. And so Foundation is one that I really want to make a nice heavy chunk into, and I'm excited about that. So for the kids at Goodwill, I got Goosebumps, The Scarecrow Walks at Midnight. I think I read this one. I don't remember. But my son said he likes Goosebumps, so picking a few up for him when I get a chance. And then my daughter is an animal fan, so I read Fablehaven by Brandon Mull, and this is Spirit Animals, Book 1, Wildborn. And then they also had Book 2, which is Hunted, and they had Book 3, which is Blood Ties. So I know nothing about these, but they're written by different authors, kind of like a kind of, you know, bunch of authors write about the same things, but they're really good shape, you know, good hardcovers, and man, they're beautiful. That's mostly the reason I picked them up, and they're animals and a bunch of different kids. I'm assuming, you know, they're like familiars maybe, you know, or something like that, where they can speak to the animals. So I'm excited for that. Hopefully she'll enjoy that quite a bit. So before I went on my trip, I went to Half Price Books, and we got Book 4, the Tower of Swallows on the Witcher series. I've got a couple of the other ones, but if I can pick these up cheap, I'm going to do it. And I love the video game tie-in covers, which, you know, you can't really see it for the sticker there, but it's the Geralt from the video games. So I love Witcher 3, and I may even go back and buy Witcher 1 and 2. Kind of see here, The Lady in the Lake. This is book 5. Yeah, book 5. So I have 1, 2. I need to pick up 3. Now I have 4 and 5. And I'm going to try to do a read through of them very, very soon. I enjoy them, but I just have so much on my plate. So I really want to jump into them, get them going. And then also I picked up this one. I read this one. This is Heir to the Empire. This is like right after Return of the Jedi. And I remember loving it. This guy with the lightning coming out, he's like the new big bad. I think he's Zahn. I think Thrawn, not Zahn. Zahn is the author, Timothy Zahn. But I never read the other two, so I got all 3 of them, and I'm going to reread the first one. And so we got start over. Sorry. Heir to the Empire, book 1. Read it. Going to reread it. Book 2, Dark Force Rising. Never read it. Want to read it. It's got yeah. This is Thrawn. So yes, this is the Thrawn trilogy. I knew it was, and I just didn't remember correctly. So, and then with Old Beard Man is back again. So I'm excited to jump back into these. I don't remember book 1 very well, but maybe this is where we meet Mara Jade. I'm excited. I know the lore, but I haven't read the books in so long. I've read spatterings of them. I've got like 1 book here, 1 book there. So I want to go into our Legends catalog and read, because I've heard they're so good. Like the lore that they didn't use, which, you know, would have been good. And I think we've realized that after watching 3 prequel movies. They were entertaining. They were never bad. I think the prequels were entertaining. I still like the Clone Wars is really bad. Like number 2 is so bad. Like the love story makes no sense. Like they didn't fall in love. That was just, we had to put them in love because Luke and Leia had to be born. But the fight scenes were so good, and 1 and 3 had their really good moments. Like you got your pod racing, you've got Darth Maul fights, you had good stuff. It was there. It just, he tried to make us believe that these 2 people were in love, and it just didn't happen. So that's a story for another day. But also, so went to Goodwill today. I was looking for some more 40 Warhammer stuff, and just glancing my lunch break. Sometimes I don't have anybody to eat lunch with, so I'll just go and I'll look through Goodwill. So I went to Goodwill today as well and got a couple. I think I spent about $20. This is The Lost Hero, Rick Riordan, book 1. Looks kind of steampunky dragons, so that might be really interesting. Picked it up for the kiddos. They're not ready for this thick of a book, but when you can find it for like $1, I think they have paperbacks at this Goodwill for like 97 cents for kids' paperbacks. So, I mean, it's in great shape. The kids may read it eventually. I'll throw it on a bookshelf. If they don't read it, I can sell it for more than that. So, you know, no reason not to pick them up. But this is what I'm really excited about. I picked up a bunch of these. Somebody had just dropped all these off. We got Terry Brooks, The Black Unicorn. Don't know much about it, but I read a couple Terry Brooks books, and I mean, it's a black unicorn with a green lady and a rainbow, and I want to figure out what it's about. So that was cool. Stardance by Spider and Jeannie Robinson. These covers, man. Like, I'm going to put it on Reddit for, you know, r/Reddit cool sci-fi covers. This one's going on there tonight when I go on Reddit. The Centauri Device by M. John Harrison. Look at this bad boy, man. Like, some of these old sci-fi covers, I'm picking these up for like $1.25 just because the covers are so good. I don't know what this is about, but that spaceship, man. Look at that. And then Cinnabar reminded me of Dune, you know, kind of Star Wars Dune-y kind of thing. and I wanted to check it out, man. Where the turbulent time stream cascades into a multi-dimensional vortex. That's Cinnabar. Come on, man. I'm picking that up. And then Piers Anthony, Split Infinity. Guy is fighting a unicorn. Picking that up. Yep. Mm-hmm. $1.25. Queen of Sorcery by David Eddings. I've read another series that he did, and I really enjoyed it. So wanted to. This is book 2, and I found book 1, and I was thinking probably there's a book 3 around somewhere, but I couldn't find it. Here's book 1, The Pawn of Prophecy by David Eddings. So I'm gonna look and see if there's a reasonable priced book 3, or Goodwill may just have it sitting in the back and they didn't bring it out. So I kind of stalk that Goodwill. They're right by a Taco Bell, and so I'll grab some Taco Bell. I'll eat for like 5 minutes, and I'll use my lunch break to look through like Goodwill. Sometimes I do secondhand books too, or half price books is the name of that store. I don't know why I said that. Arthur C. Clarke. This is the book that was the basis. This is Arthur C. Clarke, The Sentinel. This is the basis for 2001: A Space Odyssey. It's not. It's what was. It was based on, and then he went back, and he like wrote another book that explains a lot more about it. I'm excited to see what the basis was. I think this is where we got the idea for Hal. I know the movie and the book are very, very different, and then they kind of like after the fact wrote some books to make everything make more sense. But if this is a story it was based on, I think it'll be good. When you go back and you try to explain later, I don't think that's as good. So, but The Sentinel by Arthur C. Clarke, I think will be good. So I'm going to read this. It'll probably be next year. Got to admit, it'll probably be next year. Ringworld, the basis for Halo. Halo is about a bunch of ring worlds, and this is where the idea came from. Excited to check that out. This is by Larry Niven. So Ringworld, $1.25. Gonna check it out. And then we have On a Pale Horse by Piers Anthony. This is a book about a man who shoots death and has to deal with the consequences. That's a cool premise. I like Piers Anthony. I've read a few of his books. They're funny. Some of his Anth novels are pretty funny. So I like funny fantasy. It's one of my things. That's why Robert Aspirin and some of those guys I've recommended to you guys, because funny fantasy is good stuff. Charlene Harris, Dead Until Dark. I like the TV show. Saw this one. It was very, very cheap. Originally $8 at Borders. When you can find a deal like this, man. This is the first one, and I like the show. At least up till like season 4, I like the show, and so I wanted to try it out. We'll see. Sookie Stackhouse. She's a bit more the main character in the books, from what I can understand. It's not so much everybody cast of characters. It's more about Sookie's story. So we'll see. If I don't like it, I can sell it. No big deal. And so I had an idea, right? I said, I'm getting these books so cheap at Goodwill. What if I pick up some books that I don't need? So I got The Two Towers and Return of the King. These are not great copies. But I thought, what if I go run by Half Price Books and see what they'll give me for these? They were going to give me $1 for both of them. So I was like, crap, I don't need it. I paid more than that for one of them, And so I was like, I'm not going to do that. I'll, try to find the first one, and I'll sell it at a yard sale for like $6, and I'll make my money back that way. So they gave me a coupon just for trying to sell a book. So it was 10% off. So I went ahead and I got The Drawing of the Three by Stephen King. This is book 2 in the Dark Tower. And kind of doesn't make a lot of sense that book 2 has 3 in the title, but I've heard this gets way better. I didn't like Gunslinger, book 1 in the series, but supposedly this gets so much better, and I want to give it a shot. So who knows? This is book 2. We'll get to it eventually. And then I've already read this book, but I've been looking for a good copy, and this one was in really good shape, and I had a 10% off coupon, so I picked it up, and it's going to go on the bookshelf. But It by Stephen King is great. If you haven't read it, it is a coming-of-age tale that young people are frightened to death and eaten and you need to learn why, and you need to learn the how, and you need to meet a monster named Pennywise, and you need to understand about the gravity of the whole situation. It's really cool, a lot of fun. I thought it would scare me to death. It didn't. It was just great. So excited to expand my King repertoire, and it's the big floppy paperback. So that's what I like the best. Big floppy paperbacks are my friends, and you can tell I've got a few. So I don't know if you can see the bookshelf, but if you can, they're over there. Big floppy paperbacks. I got a few here too. So I have social media links down below if you guys want to follow me. I am tired, and I know this video probably rambled, and I'm sorry about that. I love you guys. I hope that you are well, and I am back. Hopefully my video for Sunday will be a little better. Let me know if you guys would rather I do Tuesday and Friday. I thought about that. Right now I'm doing Wednesdays and Sundays, and I've thought about switching over to Tuesdays and Fridays, because I don't see a lot of other booktubers come out with videos on Fridays, but I wouldn't want to do Wednesday and Friday and then have the whole weekend not done. So I was thinking if I did like Tuesday and Friday or Monday and Friday, maybe that would be a good, let me know if you think that would be better. So I will talk to you guys later. Bye.